Good morning and welcome to Sunup. I'm Dave Deacon, and the wheat is starting to turn across Oklahoma, which means it's a perfect time to hit the road and take a look at the crop. We're starting out at the Kansas state line and we're heading to Texas. Hey, Kent.
Hi, Dave.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
So this is our first stop on the wheat tour. We're in Woods County. You want to go look at some wheat?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. So this is your wheat field.
It is.
What variety do you have out here?
4458.
4458. So tell me about your crop. You obviously have a little thin wheat over here, but on the other hand, just some thicker wheat.
We do. It's been a real challenging year for us this year for wheat production. This particular field is a double crop wheat field behind grain sorghum. And what we have here really helps to show the drought stress that we've had. We have an area that's a low-lying area that doesn't drain well, really pools water fairly bad, and then some upland ground that drains down into this low area. Now you can see the difference in the height and how thick the crop is in the higher area versus this lower area with more moisture.
It looks like you've also had a little bit of hail damage in this crop too.
We have. We had golf ball sized hail about a week and a half ago. Did extreme damage to whatever wheat was left. In fact, some of the neighboring fields right down the road here have been destroyed simply because of the hail damage on top of the drought damage.
Woods County's kind of been hit or miss for moisture this year, kind of like this field here. You also have some other fields across the county, and you're kind of seeing that also.
I do, yes. I have several fields that it seems like we were so close to a permanent wilting point on our wheat this year that if we could get just a little shower to carry it through, we could make grain and really hold on for that next rainfall event. And in certain situations, the fields were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Even some of those smaller rainfall events that held some of these wheat fields on, unfortunately, then we had hail come through on the next event that led to the ultimate destruction of that field. So it has been a very challenging year.
How many acres do you have here, and overall, about how many acres do you?
This field right here is just shy of 200 acres. And then this year, I actually only have 2/4 of wheat that will be harvested. And then the rest of the wheat either has been destroyed and will have a double crop planted into it, or has been grazed by cattle.
What's your goal with this field here? I mean, with the hail damage, with the thin wheat?
This field here will be released for this season, and I'm contemplating either planting sesame or putting in a forage sorghum or a sorghum sedan crop for hay for the cows for next year. So even the hay that we have off of the failed wheat this year is very poor quality, very low yielding, and so from the livestock portion of our operation, we need that hay to carry them through from a roughage standpoint for the rest of the season.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Kent, for letting us take a look at your crop, and here's to a better crop next year.
All right, we'll try again.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Al Sutherland with your Mesonet Weather Report. Fungi thrive when nighttime temperatures climb above 60 degrees and humidities climb above 90%. And that's what May has given us in central and eastern Oklahoma. A map of peanut leaf spot infection hours over the last 2 weeks of May shows that even in the west there were peanut infection hours. The green areas range from 30 to 70 infection hours. The yellow areas were near 80. The red areas were above 110. For peanuts, anything above 36 hours increases foliar disease risk. Few farmers grow peanuts in the state, but the peanut leaf spot hour and pecan scab hour maps give us an indication that air temperatures and humidities are ripe for fungal plant attack. One of the hot spots for plant disease risk in May was bowlegs near Seminole. A chart of air temperature and relative humidity over the last 7 days of May showed nighttime temperatures, the red line, didn't drop below 65 most nights. Each night, the humidities, the blue line, were above 90% and for a number of hours close to 100%. Make sure you stay on top of plant disease risk. Here's Gary with a check on rain and drought conditions.
Thanks, Alan. Good morning, everyone. Well, it's been a pretty eventful May. We've had the hottest May on record in the state of Oklahoma, about 6.5 degrees above normal, and beating the old record of May 1962 by nearly a half a degree. So very hot. We have had some drought relief, but of course those temperatures don't help matters. However, we do have an improving drought monitor map, so let's get straight to it and see what we have. We continue to lose that extreme and exceptional drought area up in the northwestern part of the state and also down into west central and southwestern Oklahoma. So improvements there with each little bit of rainfall that we've seen. Some big rainfalls, mostly little bits here and there. Unfortunately, we also see that abnormally dry, which is D0 or the yellow color, starting to creep into far northeastern Oklahoma and also east central and far southeastern Oklahoma. So the mesonet rainfall totals for May, at least through the 30th, we do see widely varying amounts, which is the usual case for convective precipitation. Up in Woods County alone, we have 2.9 inches in Freedom and 7.8 inches in Alva, and that's a pretty close area with a very large difference. And compared to normal, that's just as varying, but we do see those areas in northwestern Oklahoma, still the core of the worst drought area, but also transferring up into the far northeastern and southeastern corners, and a little bit there in east central Oklahoma. So the May precipitation maps do tell the story. So May was a hit for some and a bit of a dud for others. We're still in the prime rainy season here as we go through the first couple of weeks of June, so we have to hope something develops to knock some more of that drought out before we hit the deep heat of summer. Some would say we already have during May, but it can get much hotter during July and August. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.
Howdy, Brandon.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
Good, good, good. So, how are things in Dewey County?
We got rain last night, but we have been a little dry.
Now, how many acres do you have in wheat?
Around 1,500.
1,500. Of those, how does it look overall?
We're not gonna harvest any. We've insured out and hayed half, and the other half we have cattle on.
What's your management been like this year? Have you put the efforts into it?
We have we fertilized the grow crop. We planted dates to grow crop. Our last good rain was in October, before last night.
What varieties do you have this year?
Raised some Bentley and some double stop.
Overall, how have they fared with very little moisture?
I thought a little bit of double stop was worth cutting earlier. The insurance guy said it'd make 5. It went downhill from March to April. It decreased pretty quick.
How much rain have you had at your place?
Right now we're 2.5 inches since October, and 1 inch and a little bit come last night.
I was going to say we're out here at Mercer's place, and some of the variety trial signs were blown over. We had a little bit of rain here, and it's, you always pray for rain, but you kind of needed it earlier.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It come maybe a little too late, but it will help our grass, and we need that.
What What do you have in store moving forward with the wheat that you have?
We think we got to clean us from ground up where we had some issues. We're just shooting for next year. This year's kind of done for us.
Sounds like a good OSU football fan. You know, next year's going to be a good year
Oh, no.
for that.
Oh no.
So what do you have going in after you're done with this crop?
We are going to plant a little bit of hay grazer. We're concerned in western Oklahoma about cattle feed. We need some bales of hay. So we're going to go for some forage. May and may not go back to wheat next year. Depends when the hay grazer comes off. We may go to oats instead of on some, not all of our ground.
So hopefully next year, give it another try, maybe, in wheat
We will.
variety.
We definitely will grow wheat. We've got to grow wheat.
Why, now that's a good question. Why do you grow wheat?
It is easy to grow. Our ground likes wheat. It seems like we get rains at the right time for wheat. This year we didn't, but every year it seems like we get rains at the right time. And I grow wheat for cattle. I love to graze cattle. That's one of the main reasons I grow wheat.
Well, here's to a better 2019.
It's going to happen.
Well, thank you for meeting with us, sir.
Thank you.
Kim Anderson, our crop marketing specialist, joins us now. And Kim, we've seen the team. They've been on the wheat tour this week. Things not looking so great for Oklahoma as harvest is starting. You have talked about quality all year long. What are you hearing?
Well, I think it's coming in probably as expected. The reports say that producers that put down nitrogen, that produce for protein, are getting test weight and protein. There's some areas that are looking relatively good, as we've seen. And then there's those producers that didn't put down the protein, the nitrogen for protein, and it's coming in as expected, low test weight and low protein. So it's scattered around the state on quality, which is what we expect, but probably better than we got last year.
How is the wheat crop looking elsewhere?
Well, if you look up in Kansas, they've got a better crop than we do here in Oklahoma. The reports are that their quality will be better than it was last year. Of course, you get in western Kansas, it's spotty, and they've had problems like we've had. You go north, you get out of the drought areas, move on up into Montana and Wyoming. The crop looks relatively good. Production overall is going to be less than last year, maybe 150 million bushels, but probably better quality.
And what about production around the world?
Well, if you look what's going on around the world, and one reason I think for our higher prices is it's dry in Russia, in Australia and Canada. They're having problems with dry conditions. That's probably reducing their potential yields. Overall, world production is probably going to be down 2 or 3% from last year.
And what do you think will determine future prices?
Well, it's going to be that quality of our crop. That's going to have a big impact on our price. And then just if we could get Russia, Canada, really Russia and Australia for their crops to be short, we could get a $1 bump in price. But I think the big factor is going to be foreign hard wheat production.
With prices around $5, should producers store or sell?
How can you not take advantage of some $5 wheat prices? You can go, a third, a third, and a third, or say a half and a fourth and a fourth. I'd stagger it out over. If you want to sell it all, and this might be a year to buy the board, the basis is relatively strong. At a minus 30, anywhere from minus 20 to a minus 35, that's a relatively strong basis. You could buy the board, the basis is already good. Any increase in price, you'd get it from the futures.
Okay, Kim, thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Howdy, Jeff.
Hi.
How are you?
All right.
Well, you want to go look at some Ouachita County wheat?
Yeah, let's do.
Okay. What? When did you actually plant this wheat?
It was 1st of November. Yeah.
So it was a later planted
It
variety.
was late planted. It came behind sesame. We had sesame in here and we went double cropped back to wheat. So.
How much rain have you had here in Ouachita County?
About around 5 inches here since November. So, and most of that came in the last probably 30 days or 60 days. So.
What's your management been like of the weeds and of the nitrogen and all that?
Well, with the wheat being thin this year, you can see we came in and sprayed weeds about a week ago. And with the wheat being short, we're going to have to probably have a weed problem during harvest if we don't control them.
That was my next question. Are you going to take this crop all the way to harvest?
Yes, we are.
Is that how it's been with most of your fields, or?
We're in about a 50% graze out and 50% on the on harvested. So this field gets harvested, but that's kind of how we rotate. So
Overall in Ouachita County, is this pretty much the way it's been? Are there better or worse fields that you've seen that you have?
we have a few. We have one field that's a little bit better that was planted in October but never grazed. But then the rest of it, this is pretty. Most Ouachita County will look like this. I mean, it's thin, so.
Whenever you were doing your variety selection back, last year, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking about drought possibility? Were you thinking about weed pressure? Or did you just like a variety?
Well, we've been with Gallagher and Iba, both of them. We're kind of getting away from the Gallagher, more Iba, and we're looking for a seed wheat to replace Gallagher right now. So, but
whenever you harvest this, it's always hard to stand in the field and guess, but what are you hoping for on this field?
You know, about 3 weeks ago, I would have told you 5 bushels an acre. Now that we've had good filling weather, I think it could be in the 15 range or better. So I might be optimistic, but I think it could be in the 15, which is not great, but it's better than what we thought. So
take what you can get.
Yeah.
So what goes in after this wheat?
This field will probably go back to wheat next year, but more than likely it may be a graze out farm. So
it's important to have that rotation like that.
That's how we keep our fields clean. We keep the joint grass and the cheat and keep them clean.
So how much further or how much longer until combines are rolling out here?
I think there could be some combines rolling here at the end of the week, for sure next week.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us take a look at your wheat.
Yeah,
Sure
appreciate you coming
it.
by.
Yeah.